Welcome to This Is What 40 Looks Like, where structure meets soul and reinvention isn't just allowed, it's expected. I'm Melodian Whiteley, author, speaker, and founder of the Rebel Tribe, here to help you design a life and a business that fits who you are now.
And I'm Andy W. Shepherd, heart-centered coach and creative rebel, reminding you that your best years aren't behind you, they're unfolding right now. Together, we're having the real conversations about starting over, finding purpose, and living fully after 40, 50, 60, or whenever the heck you're ready. So make yourself a cuppa,
Take a deep breath,
and let's dive in. Welcome back to This Is What 40 Looks Like.
and today we're going to be talking about a topic that's kind of been on both our hearts lately, especially if you tuned into the last episode, you heard us discuss it somewhat, and that's building a legacy. And what does that really mean? What does it really mean to build a legacy? How do we even start? And why does it feel so much more important after 40?
Yeah, and it isn't, in my opinion, about just statues or having the wing of a hospital named after you or a building. I mean, okay, yes, it can be, or having your name in lights. Legacy for me is the imprint that you leave behind on your family, your community, in the world. And you don't have to wait until the end of your life to think about it. You're building it right now. And there's so many ways that you can do it. Just simple stuff can make a difference. I remember seeing something about a guy who was an old age pensioner, who's a senior, sorry. I'm using British terms here. He, he basically had retired and he was probably in his 80s or something, and he was always, before school went in, he was always there and he encouraged the children, and I think sometimes he maybe gave some of the children apples and things like this, and everybody loved him. And to me, that was a legacy of how to be kind to people, and everybody will always remember him long after he's gone.
Well, I remember when I was younger, and probably for a lot of you too, but legacy sounded like something for the rich and the famous and the powerful. But the truth is that legacy is built in the everyday. It's in the way you show up for your kids. You know, you're leaving a legacy for your kids every day. I don't care how rich or poor you are, you're leaving a legacy for your children. It's in the way you treat people, the way they're going to remember you after you're gone. It's in the lessons you share and the dreams that maybe it's in the dreams that you finally have given yourself permission to pursue and to chase.
I love that. For me, legacy means carrying forward my mum's vision of the Phoenix Center for Healing. And this is something that Melodian and myself have got in common, about this love for the Phoenix. And you'll see that in our logo. And that's something that is something important to both of us. As a Scorpio, a Phoenix is really important, to go from the ashes and to rise and soar and, overcome everything. It's like the story of my life. And so that's what I'm bringing forward. And it's about continuing something bigger than myself and knowing that the seeds planted are still growing. And I've seen that as well. Somebody brought it up. I had an English language school in Brazil called Mr. Brit, because the
I'm
in
sorry,
Brazil.
I never knew the name. I'm sorry.
You didn't know. There you
I
go.
knew you had a school, but I didn't know the name.
Yeah. It's called Mr. Brit. And so the reason it came up was there was a friend of mine. They're going to give a shout out to my good buddy Mauro Mogado. He had a school, and we had in the days that I drank, we were talking about what I should call the school. And so in Brazil, they put Mr. in front of everything to make it sound what they call chic, chic. So they use the word chic. And so it's like Mr. Chaves, which means Mr. Keys. So he's a locksmith. Mr. Auto, which is something to do with cars, and so on. So this is Mr. Brit, because I'm a Brit. And so, yeah, that's how my where my name came from. And in fact, as I went down the street, if I went to the bank, I'd have at least six people shouting, "Oi, Mr. Britt!" So yeah, that's my legacy because the school's still going. I sold the school and I formed it in 2000. So it's now 25 years old and people still remember my school. And I'm certain that if I walk back into Tabaté in Brazil, then people would shout, "Hey, Mr. Britt." What a cool legacy.
Oh, that is cool. That is cool. And see, legacy can be, it can be about the businesses you create or that book that we're one day gonna write. Or the podcast that we launched or the community you build. All of these things, they just kind of ripple outward. Like if you throw a stone into the water and you watch the little ripples, all of these things ripple outward just like that, far beyond far beyond us.
That's right. Absolutely. And yeah, we just never know what impact we're having until till later. I mean, we can, you can build something up from nowhere. You can build something consciously what your legacy is going to be about. But like with the school, Mr. Britt, that wasn't my intention when I first started out. So why does 40 feel like the turning point? Well, by this age, we've lived long enough to have some scars, some stories, and hopefully a little wisdom. But we also realize time isn't endless. We want to spend the next chapter building something that lasts, but not just chasing the next shiny thing. And heck, do we love our shiny things?
Oh, I know. I'm gonna start a group called Shiny Objects Anonymous.
I'm joining, please.
But you've heard me say it. I started because it kind of became my tagline. Like a few years ago, I'd be like, when I hit 65, because it was like, okay, now I'm officially old. So I'd be like, but I don't feel old. So my little
Mhm.
tagline, a little hashtag, I think this is what 65 looks like. And even now, I'm always like, this is what 68 looks like. That's where the title of this whole podcast came from. This is what 40 looks like. We're choosing to create a future that outlives us. But it's empowering. You're not too old to start something new. I mean, here we are. I'm 68 and I'm starting a new podcast. And, this is the perfect season. This is the perfect season to start planting the seeds of everything that's going to one day be your legacy. So let's just kind of take a look at things. Your personal legacy. It could be the traditions you pass down. I have a great post a couple of years ago on Facebook where my daughter was watching while I taught my granddaughter how to make all the, because I'm Czech. So I was teaching my granddaughter how to make all the traditional holiday dishes. And she was just sitting there, watching us and taking pictures of it. And then she sent me the photos, and it was awesome to see that, yes, I'm passing these traditions that my grandmother taught my mother, who taught me, who it was very cool. So it can be something as simple as that. It can be the values you live by, or even talking about holidays, it could even be that recipe because my grandmother used to make the most delicious eggnog at Christmas. Okay. And I lost the recipe somewhere. And I remember a couple Christmases ago, I was like combing the rest of the family. It's like, does anybody have grandma's eggnog recipe and Aunt Mill's peanut butter fudge recipe? Because it's not the holidays without eggnog and peanut butter fudge. And lo and behold, somebody had them. So it's all good. But something as simple as that is like a family recipe that's been handed down for generations. These are all part of your legacy.
Yeah, that's right. And it's so important. I think we can all totally relate to the food thing here, passing this down. And I'm realizing now that there are certain food things that have been passed down. One of them is a vegetable stew because my parents were vegetarian, so I'm vegetarian. And we called it nosh. And that's it. We say, "Would you like some nosh? Oh, I'd love some." Yeah, so that's what a stew is to us. I don't know where the word comes from. I don't know if it's a Derby word because I come from the city of Derby, but there you go. And definitely at Christmas, there's like you have it be at a table. My mum would have like always have like a centerpiece and have candles and definitely have Christmas crackers and just the specific way of making the food. So for us, we'd have like a nut roast for because we're vegetarian, and then the traditional way to do the vegetables, and that's something that is being passed on. So yeah, I can completely relate to that. And the other thing to look at is what about your professional legacy? That's the impact of your work. Maybe you've built a business that supports others. Maybe you've written words that inspire. Maybe you're mentoring someone who will carry forward what you've taught them. And I can definitely see this with my legacy of my mum's restaurant. It wasn't until I'd left Brazil and left the school that I really started looking at the way that I'd built the school. And I did it in a way that I wanted it to be a fun environment because the restaurant was somewhere that was fun. All the time I was hearing the girls, as they called themselves, because they were all women working there, and they would be saying, my mum would say, "Hey, Sheila or whoever it was, this specific time, whatever time it was, it's like, well, it's quarter past. Shouldn't be you be going?" And they'd say, "Oh my goodness, I completely lost track," or they'd say, "Do I have to go? I'm enjoying myself," kind of thing. And that's how I tried the best that I could to make the school. I mean, yeah, you've got to work sometimes, of course, but I always wanted it to be a fun environment. And with it being an English school, it was very easy to do that. And it was fun. I loved it. And that was the legacy from a mum that she'd passed on down to me.
I love it when your personal legacy and your professional legacy kind of overlap. So, like in the
Mhm.
Rebel Tribe, yes, it's my business. Okay, it's part of my legacy, but it's a community of women. It was built to empower women. After I've stepped away from the mic, all these women will still be out there. But what I love is that so many of them now have become personal friends. So I kind of feel like responsible for empowering them to carry on after I'm gone and build their legacies. So it's kind of like the two things have now come together, my professional legacy with my business, the Rebel Tribe, but this personal attachment I have to so many of these women because they're close personal friends now, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. Same here, same here. My legacy is about honoring my mum, but also creating a safe healing space for people now and in the future. There's professional, but it's deeply personal too. And I love being able to. I love that my mum has given me such a great example in her legacy without her realizing it. I told her, I remember I came back when I come back, and it was basically, unfortunately, the end of her life. But we had a lot of time to talk, and this is what I said to her, and she was really touched that my school. Sorry, it's making me emotional, but my school had been what it was and the success it was because of how she had this run her restaurant, and that really touched her. So yeah, that's just beautiful.
That is sweet. That must have meant a lot to her. That's awesome.
Yeah, me
So,
too.
people, if you're listening right now, we want to challenge you to think about your own legacy. I want you all to ask yourself, what is it that you want to be remembered for? Seriously.
Yeah, if you could only pass down three lessons, what would they be?
And I have one more question for you, and it's a practical one because you know me, I miss practicality. What's one small thing you can start today that's going to outlive you. Okay, maybe it's, you've seen these, because I have one, my kids bought it for me. Maybe it's these little like journals for your grandkids where you leave them little messages every day, or you tell them about your past, you tell them about your life. You can go buy them on Amazon. Okay, so maybe it's one of these little journals for your kids or your grandkids, or maybe it's, go mentor someone. You have no idea the impact you have on someone. I remember, because it just amazed me, that a girl that was graduating, I was her Girl Scout leader, and she was graduating from high school, and she'd been accepted into college, and she sent me an invitation to come to her graduation, and I'm like, why? Okay. We haven't even spoken in so long. Why? Well, it's because she remembered the support. She credited me with being like the driving force in her life that pushed her to get through high school and to go on into college. And it's like, wow, I had no idea. I had no idea that me as her little Girl Scout leader gave her the whatever she needed at that time. So it was fabulous. It was touching. Never know the impact you're having on someone. So maybe you go mentor someone. Go be a Girl Scout leader. Go be something. Maybe it's finally launching that thing that you've always dreamed of. You've heard me say it 100 times. Go do that thing that sets your soul on fire. Maybe it's finally figuring out what that thing is and launching it, whatever it is.
It's so true. It's so true. We really, truly never know the impact that we're having on other people, but we are having an impact. So let's make it a positive impact, something good, and something that's, worthy of being a legacy. And at the end of the day, legacy isn't about someday, it's about today. Every action you take is building the story you'll leave behind.
And it's not too late. It's never too late to start shaping that story. Your 40s and beyond, this is the perfect time to do it with purpose, because now you have the time. You've built the career, you've raised the kids. Now is your time to start doing whatever it is you need to do to create that thing that you want to leave behind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this means that, whatever stage of life you're at, it's like it's not ending. You can still do stuff that's useful. There's some stuff that's worthwhile. We don't have to just sit around at home watching TV. We can go and make an impact on the people around us and leave an amazing legacy. So anyway, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. This is what 40 looks like. We'd love to hear about what legacy means to you. Share your thoughts with us on social media or leave a comment.
And don't forget, okay, do the thing, follow the podcast, subscribe, hit the notifications, do all the stuff, okay? Because we're trying to build, so do all the stuff. So until next time.
Bye for now. See you on the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to This Is What 40 Looks Like. If you loved today's episode, share it with a friend, leave us a review, hit that notification button so you never miss an episode. And don't forget to leave us a comment. We'd love to hear how your next chapter is unfolding.
And remember, your age is not a deadline. It's a launching pad. Keep rebelling, keep rising, and we'll see you on the next episode.